face looks extra red. I look like a tomato. Is it recording?
No.
Are you sure? I see 8, 9, 10.
Hello. What'd you think of Better Call Saul Season 1?
It was good. I mean, it would help if I knew the characters.
For context, she hasn't seen any of Better Call Saul or Breaking Bad ever. I watched Breaking Bad a couple years after the show came to a head, and I watched it a couple times after that. I only started watching Better Call Saul when it just finished its 5th season and was going into, there was a couple, like a year or so before they started airing the 6th season. So I've only watched Better Call Saul once, so this is my first time going back and rewatching it, opposed to Breaking Bad, where I've seen it so many different times. So, what's your first impression of the show, aside from not knowing the characters?
The acting is excellent. The story is really good and everything, but I think it loses some of its impact if you don't know any of the characters, because then they're just, you're being introduced to them, but very slowly, and not much is happening with their characters. I mean, stuff happens, but they're just kind of there, and stuff happens, and they do things.
That's an interesting juxtaposition, because I felt the same way the first time I watched the show. Because if you go from Breaking Bad to Better Call Saul, Breaking Bad is way more fast-paced in comparison to Better Call Saul. But I think you get more out of the slow pacing when in Better Call Saul when you know the end of the character arc. Because I remember feeling the same way too. I'm like, I don't get it. But there's so many different moments that are highlighted when you know the end arc of the character and who they end up becoming or what ends up happening to them. So some key things I would like to highlight is the whole, in the first couple of episodes, there's the whole thing where we're introduced to Mike Ehrmantraut. She obviously doesn't know who Mike is because she hasn't seen Breaking Bad or Better Call Saul, but he plays the toll booth attendant and essentially acts as a roadblock towards Saul. And it's actually kind of symbolic of how Saul feels in terms of how he operates throughout life. He's always trying to do the right thing, but he's never capable, at least at that point in the show, of obtaining any sort of progress. When he tries to do the right thing, he never has the amount of stickers he needs to get through the toll, blah, 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 blah. So when he finally does end up getting through the toll, he basically has to cheat his way into it. He makes, Mike looks the other way, and then he goes over and he taps the buzzer himself. So that gives a good insight into his character and where he is now, where he's trying to do the right thing, but...
Well, it could also show that he consistently does the same thing, even if it doesn't work, over and over and over.
And doing the wrong thing is his coping mechanism.
Well, no, not even doing the wrong thing. It's just like, you did what you were supposed to do, but then if it didn't work the first time, he should just go back and ask the sticker lady for another sticker after the first day or two that this happened. But he doesn't. He just keeps doing the same thing. He's like, she shorts me again. Do something. Help yourself.
Well, it all comes to a head when finally in the last couple of episodes of the season where he's actually developing this huge case and he's doing all the right stuff he needs to be doing. The one little hiccup he has is where he takes the bribe from the Kettlemans, which is like the last type of thing, the last little thing he needed to kind of amend himself of before he can continue on the path of doing the right thing. And he does sacrifice to do that, and he starts doing the right thing, and you're happy for him, and you feel like his relationship with his brother is super good. But then boom, hits you in the dick right at the end of the season. You realize, oh, his brother has been hindering him the whole time, and he snaps, and he's like, no, I'm embracing Slippin' Jimmy with the whole death of Marco and all that. And you're just like, no.
Yeah, it definitely hit me the same way.
Yeah, it hit her the exact same way in her tail. So
that I definitely have. No, I thought it was stupid because obviously his brother either is a complete dunce and unaware of stuff, or he's somehow involved in him not going higher up.
Well, she also doesn't have the context of more of the past elements that are introduced in seasons 2 and 3 in terms of the brotherly relationship.
Again, common sense would argue that if your brother is all for something and he's always surprised when it doesn't work, even though he's supposed to have a say in whether or not it works, then something is kind of weird. Either he's stupid and he isn't unaware of stuff, or he's not telling you everything.
But that's why the acting is so good, not just with what's his name? I can't remember the dude who plays Chuck, but Chuck, Saul, I'll just call them by their character names. Mike, all the acting is it's so freaking good. Like, oh, it's so good because so much of it is subtle.
Apparently, the actor for Chuck was in some old show. I forget what it was called. But there's two characters called Lenny and Squiggy, and he was Lenny.
That makes sense. But yeah, this show. So how would you sum up your thoughts and feelings on season 1?
It's very good. There's nothing bad you can say about it except for the fact
The
that
pacing.
I just don't feel sucked in. I don't sit there and I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see what happens. I'm like, yes, there's no complaints. There's just no excitement towards it. It's fine.
It's objectively very good. It's just not. Yeah, it doesn't have that suck you in factor.
It's like a job that gives you all sorts of great benefits and an easy commute and no stress, but it's just like you're just kind of there all day. You're like, oh, this is fine, but I don't wake up and go, whoa, I can't wait to go to my job, or I don't come back home and be like, whoa, I can't wait to watch Better Call Saul.
That's the great thing about the first 3 seasons, because the first
that you have to just keep watching them.
Well, the
until
first
you want
3
to watch
seasons
it.
are like its own thing, and then once you get to the climax of season 3, then it slowly starts morphing into Breaking Bad, and you get more stuff with Nacho, Gus Fring, and I can't remember the one Salamanca that's super captivating.
Jeez.
No.
Pimento.
But yeah, so you just kind of. It literally doesn't get worse, so at least you have that to look forward to. It literally only gets better.
Well, it's really good.
But it literally gets better. It's so crazy. It's so crazy how good this show is. I think I like Better Call Saul better on rewatch more than I like Breaking Bad on rewatch, I would say.
So you're saying we don't have to watch Breaking Bad?
No, you have to watch Breaking
Why
Bad.
do I have to watch
It's
it?
a necessity.
Why? I've made it this far in life.
Breaking Bad is one of the greatest shows of all time. And then on top of that, we got El Camino the movie. It's all so good.
How is it the greatest show of all time?
I didn't say it's the greatest show of all
How
time.
is it
It's
one of the
them.
greatest?
Because you have to watch it and make it up for yourself. But there's so many people. There's a reason so many people put it up there on that pedestal of one of the greatest shows
People
of all
are
time.
obsessed with McDonald's too. It doesn't mean their food's that great.
Yeah, but me personally, obviously The Sopranos is one of the greatest shows of all time. But I think Sopranos is my personal favorite. If I had to pick one of the best shows of all time to be my favorite, it would be The Sopranos. But this one's tough because Sopranos is 6 seasons, Better Call Saul is 6 seasons. But it feels like, I don't know, we're going to have to watch The Sopranos because
We are.
it's amazing. But I don't remember, because I remember really loving The Sopranos, but I don't know if it has that suck you in factor. I can't remember. I remember being sucked in, but maybe, I don't know. I'd
You
like
also
to see it.
binge watch stuff. You used to binge watch stuff. You had a lot more free hours during the day, which makes it much easier to get sucked into stuff because you actually invest and it passes faster. And everything kind of just hits hard and fast. But if you watch 1 or 2 episodes a day, it doesn't hit the same way.
Better Call Saul is laying the groundwork for all the previous or all the seasons to come. So, one thing I was surprised is I thought they spread more Mike stuff out, like his whole thing with the son and the stepdaughter, or not the stepdaughter,
Daughter-in-law.
the daughter-in-law. I remember that in my memory for some reason being spread out more throughout the 3 seasons, but in at least from what we've seen, it's pretty much all in the first season, which I thought was really compelling. And then also there's a lack of black and white flashbacks because obviously the most recent thing I remember, because I watched season 6 as it was coming out, was every episode was a black and white kind of flash forward, but it made sense because I'm not gonna spoil it, but it made sense why they would do that in the 6th season. But I
can't wait. I love black and white after 5 seasons.
It's great. So anyways, yeah, amazing.